Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. When I started this project, and whenever I talk to people about what I'm doing, I often hear, but isn't everybody in Buffalo Catholic? Next slide. And you can see that, whoops, back one. Oh, okay, well, it's not there. Well, I should have a pie graph there showing that about half of the population here in Buffalo, there we go, two-thirds, or a third maybe of the population in Buffalo is Catholic. You have about a quarter Protestant and a bunch of others that we'll talk about in a minute. And then you have this big unclaimed portion. That's a whole other topic we can talk about some other time. Many of those probably have affiliation with some of these groups or family connections, but not direct participation. Next slide, please. Okay, well, that other group, it's not showing up. About half of the other, the non-Catholic ones, are Muslim, about a quarter are Jewish, about an eighth are Hindu, an eighth are Mormon, and the rest are split between other religious groups, other major world religions. And here we also have a chart showing the decline of some of the religious groups. In the last 10 years, the Catholic population has dropped. Again, that's a topic we can talk about some other time, because what I want to talk about today is experiencing this diversity. I've been sending my students out to visit religious communities, religious services, interview people from other religious traditions, and if I can have the next picture now. Oh, now we get it. Oh well. Moving on to the next slide, please. I've been sending my students out to visit these services because we do actually have a lot of diversity here. Buffalo gives us an opportunity to see how these religious groups interact, sometimes even how they borrow ideas and concepts and practices from each other. And also, we have the issue that people actually seem to get along pretty well here, unlike in some parts of the country or some parts of the world where there's a lot of violence and unpleasantness between religious groups. We actually get along. So what I want to do to spend most of my time this morning is to show what my students have found in some of the interviews and other visits they've done.
Our son, Kevin, he attended St. Columba school, Catholic school in St. Columba Bridge now. And I used to go to Mass with my children because they were all in Catholic school. We have a daughter and two sons. Catholic. Kevin was an altar boy. So I had to go to church with him 6 days a week. Monday through Friday. Saturdays we were off. And Sundays we went to Mass. And this was for like 12 years. But then I would still go to my church after Mass. So that was a rewarding experience to learn a lot about the Catholic Church.
Okay. And
my husband, he used to attend the synagogue. He's black, but he attended the synagogue, so on the Saturdays. So I never got confused. I just wanted to learn everything that I could possibly learn about life. I use the Bible the same as you would use the GPS system.
Now, I should also add, it wasn't in this clip, but this lady also talks about how growing up, her family lived with an aunt who was Seventh-day Adventist, so they also went to church on Saturdays to that church and on Sundays to the Baptist church. Now, next we have a video of a Catholic man who talks a little bit about his travels and encounters with people of other traditions.
Hi, I'm Dennis Mahaney, and I'm a Roman Catholic, and you can spell Roman R-O-A-M-I-N apostrophe, because I have a variety of experiences even in the Roman Catholic Church. I've lived in different places in the country, and I've also studied other religions. I studied in Japan, and so Zen Buddhism was a particular interest of mine. We have Muslims who are next door neighbors. We've had Muslims and Hindus and Sikhs living with us because we housed refugees for a number of years. So, Roman Catholic.
Now, here's one of the students from the college. She grew up Catholic, still very involved in the Catholic Church, but also very interested in other religious traditions.
Yeah, basically, the main interest of mine is, you know, with the U.S., we used to be like a strictly Judeo-Christian, nation, but now with all of the incoming immigrants, especially from the Middle East, obviously we have, a huge, I guess, Islamic impact now in the community. I mean, especially in Buffalo, as a lot of people know, Lackawanna, there are many, many Arabs, most of them Muslim. So, I mean, I just feel that students here and all over Buffalo who aren't of that ethnicity or religion should, I guess, keep an open eye out to, this new way of living for them. It's good to just not see them as the other and start integrating them into the community as opposed to keeping everybody separate. I mean, that's the whole idea with Oasis, that we want to, inform and enlighten people about, the religions and cultures of the Middle East, and get them just exposed and more understanding, and not seeing them as, sometimes, unfortunately, how the news portrays them.
Mm-hmm.
Next slide, we have a Jewish psychologist talking about his own religious development.
My name is Bobby Minkoff. I'm a psychologist. Retired from teaching at Erie Community College a couple of years ago. I still have a private practice. I do counseling and therapy work. I'm a storyteller. I have 5 kids. I grow a garden. I guess that's me. I root for the Yankees. Grew up in the Bronx, so I've got the Yankees in my blood. I'm Jewish, obviously. I didn't grow up in a very religious family. We were consciously Jewish, but weren't terribly observant. I became more observant when I grew up. My experience with Judaism was mostly through my grandparents, going to a very old synagogue with a lot of old people, mostly on the high holidays. And so my experience was one of Judaism being very solemn, very prayerful, very old. So I wasn't terribly interested in being part of that until I met a rabbi named Shlomo Carlebach of blessed memory, who introduced me to a Judaism that was joyful and celebratory and filled with life and song and prayer and all of that. And that immediately appealed to me. And I said, this I can do.
All right, now our final interview is with a leader from the Sikh community who has been very active in civic affairs.
I was born in a Sikh family, and like every young man, I had a couple of years of rebellion, so I became a hippie and I cut my hair. Okay, we are the reverse of your hippies. In our case, hippies cut their hair. So I had 2 years, but then more I studied my scriptures, more faith I got. And more science progresses, more our scripture seems to be valid.
I was born in a Sikh family, but just
45 years ago when I moved to this town, my sons were the only one with long hair. And they're talking about bullying now, you wouldn't believe it what they met when in 1970. But we made through, and that's how I got involved with the school system, start putting different groups together. And actually I was the first non-European, not only, to move in Amherst in 1967, And I was the first Sikh in this town, so as a result I had to get involved. Yes, we did meet discrimination, but now, so far as Amherst is concerned, I'm the king.
Now, as I said, I send my students out to worship services, so I also ask them whenever possible to film the worship services. So I have a few very short clips from some of those services to show some of the commonalities and also differences between the traditions.
ਸਿੱਖਾ ਨਾਨਕ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਨੈਣਾ ਦੇ ਨੂਰ ਸਿੱਖਾ ਸਦਾ ਲਈ ਏ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਆਬਾਦ ਤੇਰੀ ਨਾ ਤੂੰ ਡੋਲ ਤੂਫਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਹੋਣੀ ਕਦੇ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨ ਬਰਬਾਦ ਤੇਰੀ ਲੱਖ
Now, the other thing that I've had my students do is to go out and talk to community groups to try to see how religion has an impact beyond just worship services. So we'll hear about a couple of community groups in a moment. This spring, we all went for dinner one night at one of the convents, and this term, I'm taking my students and having them do some investigation of some of the religious art at Forest Lawn Cemetery right across the street. So if we could have the next slide, please. First, we have Friends of Night People, a soup kitchen for homeless people, which also provides other services.
We're providing meals to people who otherwise might go hungry at the end of the night. People who don't necessarily know where their next meal is going to come from, they know they can come here. Additionally, we have clothing rooms where we give out free clothing. We offer medical, eye, and foot clinics. Personally, I have a Catholic background, and you know, this is really in line with the Catholic faith of helping the less fortunate.
That's fine. This is the founder of St. Luke's Mission of Mercy here on the east side of Buffalo.
My name is Amy Betros, and I'm from Lebanese descent. I was born in Buffalo. My mother was born in Lebanon, and my dad was first generation Lebanese here. They had a bakery called Pete Lebanese Bakery, makes all the pita bread. And, you know, I came from a family that, you know, hardworking and welcomed a lot of strangers because of the fact that they were immigrants. You know, a lot of people would come to this country and not have a place to go. So I guess I was always brought up that way, to welcome a stranger, to help them, to work. And as I got older, I just loved people. I loved to feed people, and I loved to just be with people. I opened a restaurant called Amy's Place. And I was right near the University of Buffalo. And it was a great joy to me. Many students and college kids from all over the world. And I wanted them all to feel like there was a place where they would know somebody, not feel alone, and always could come to. And I think that Amy Place fulfilled that. And while I was there, in my 10th year of being there, I had what you would call a St. Paul conversion. I've always been Catholic, and I've always loved the Lord. But I guess I never really knew what it meant to have a personal relationship with Him, to really understand how much He loves us. And in 1990, I had, like I said, what they call St. Paul conversion, through his mother, Mary, who was having apparitions in Medjugorje, Yugoslavia. And I went there, and when I came back, my whole life had changed. I knew there was something God wanted me to do. I didn't know exactly what it was. So I stayed in the restaurant, and I would just really, you know, talk to everyone who came in, and they would ask me, and they can tell there's something different in my life. My whole attitude, my whole heart, everything changed.
All right, our next slide, please, is one of the sisters from the convent we visited.
So we have then all through the day, the sisters are working, because we have to earn our living.
It was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you. There are people who think that the bishop supports us, or that the Catholic Church supports us, or Rome supports us. No way. We have to earn all our salaries, and we have to earn the money for ourselves, but for all those sisters who can't work anymore, or who are sick. And so what we do, those are the kinds of things. What we try to do is look around. What are the needs? So very much we're in areas that are like this one here. This is the west side of Buffalo. It's not the most elegant area. So we very often want to be in those areas.
All right, and as I said, my students have been going out and visiting these services, and they've been learning a lot. I want to actually let one of my students speak a little bit about her own experience with the class.
So I gained a new perspective of Buffalo in that way, and just discovering how much it has to offer in the religious realm. It was really nice to talk to all the sisters and get an insider's view of what goes on in a convent. And I would say that I gained a newfound respect for religion in general. It goes beyond, believing in God. It's about human life in general.
So this project is ongoing, so please stay tuned. And thank you.